What's up? My name's Sarah. I'm 22. I'm from Ohio, but I currently live in North Hills, California. And this is the story of how just this past weekend I somehow ended up at a swingers party. Yeah. So like I said, I'm from Ohio. I've actually been living in California for about 4 weeks, so I don't know too many people. With the exception of one of my really good friends who actually moved out here around the same time I did. We went to college together, and she's out here for work. So we hang out together on the weekends. So this past week, our number one priority has been trying to find somewhere to watch the fight of the century, the big Mayweather vs. Pacquiao fight. And one of my relatives had this really great idea that we should download like a meetup app that basically helps people in the area with similar interests meet up. So when this group called like Black People in LA emailed me about watching the fight at a mansion in Bel Air, I was ecstatic. I'm not from California, so obviously I'm thinking like Bel Air mansion, we're going to the Fresh Prince. Like we're totally about to meet the Fresh Prince. I tell my friend she's totally down to go. The day of the fight comes, we get all cute, we're all dressed up, we're excited to go. We take an Uber up there, and first things first, it's definitely not a mansion. It's on a bit of a hill, so it's a little elevated over the houses on either side of it, but it's clearly not a mansion. It's in the middle of nowhere in the hills of Bel Air. Nonetheless, we're already here, we're excited, we're not going to be petty. So we go up, there's these big, like, menacing doors, and before we even get a chance to knock on them, they open. This really pretty, tall, dark-skinned girl comes, and she's like, she already knows who we are because we RSVP'd, and she's like, hey, let me give you a tour of the house, and then you can watch the fight on any room in the house. So she gives us a tour of the house, and I'm thinking we're going to be watching like a living room or like a mini theater, but she's actually showing us the bedrooms. There's this hallway, and they have all these bedrooms, and people are old. Like the people there are all like 40. That's the first thing I noticed. Second of all, we're overdressed. Me and my friend came dressed for a party, and everyone's in their pajamas, and they're all on beds. There's like a king size bed in all the rooms, and there's like a dozen people just like chilling on the bed watching the fight. So after the tour, we decided we're gonna watch what we have declared as the least creepy room because it's mostly females and they're like slightly under 40. So we go and watch the fight from this room. We don't sit on the bed, we sit on the corner and the floor, and we're trying to watch the fight, but one of the people in this bed is this like Mexican man, and he has like tribal tattoos, and he is on a red Speedo, which is weird. At this point, we're trying to ignore him, but he's like staring at us. And at some point, he's like, hey, chicas, you come sit on the bed with us. He's like patting his lap like he's like our mother. And we're like holding each other in the corner, like, oh no, we'll be fine. We proceed to ignore him. We are ignoring everyone's request to get us drunk. We don't want to be intoxicated for this in any way, and we watch the fight. After the fight, me and my friend go in the kitchen, and we're just like, okay, we have to find somewhere to go. This isn't our scene, but we don't have anywhere to go. Neither one of us is from Ohio. We don't live close to here. We don't know where we are. We're in the middle of nowhere. We didn't drive, so we can't just wander around. We need somewhere to go so that we can call an Uber. So in the meanwhile, I decide I have to go to the bathroom. The bathroom immediately in front of me is occupied, so I actually head down one of the hallways and try to go to the bathroom, but the first door before the bathroom is a bedroom. I walk past, the lights are on, the door is open, and there is a real life episode of like real sex going on, and it's so nasty. There's a real life orgy with these old people going on in this room, and I am mortified. Like I'm immediately like distraught. It's all over my face, and I go back and walk towards my friend, and she's like, "What? What'd you see?" And I can't even articulate it. I'm like, and she's like, "What? I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna go see." So she goes and walks down the hall, looks in the room, comes back, and is like, "Okay, we gotta get the hell out of here." So at this point, we're in the kitchen, and I look up, and I kid you not, it's one of the girls from the first season of Flavor of Love. Granted, only I would recognize her because I still watch it online. But just to show you how bizarre it is, and there's this woman in this like fishnet bodysuit, and she's like shaped like a potato, and it's so weird. And we hide in one of the bathrooms, and my friend at this point, she's yelling at me. She's like, "What is this? What did you bring me to?" And I'm like, "I swear I didn't say anything about being some old freak party." And I'm like frantically looking through my email to see if there's some indication, and there isn't. And we come to the conclusion that we just didn't catch it because they're like speaking in code, like they're talking in like swinger, and so we didn't understand. So we leave the bathroom, and in the dining room, the woman in the fishnet suit is like straddling some old man, and then the host of the party he's like Drake. He's not really Drake. He's like a fat version of Drake, and he's like badgering us, and he's poking us. And you're not gonna be on your phone at my party, and we are like, we have got to go. So we put in a random address in Hollywood and called an Uber. And of course, we're in the middle of nowhere, so the Uber's 25 minutes away from us. So we are gonna wait outside, but it's so cold, and the bouncer is like, You girls just wait in the doorway and I'll come get you when your ride gets here. We're trying to wait inside, but in the front room there's this old short black man. He's like a pimp. He's like the pimp Don Juan, this old short pimp. And he's like walking towards us really slow and his stomach is hanging out and we're like shaking and he gets up to us and he's like playing with our like forearms with his finger and he's like, you girls can come over here with us, and we scream as if we're in a horror movie. We run towards the door like there's a masked like gunman behind us, and we can't unlock the door. We're panicking, and there's all these locks on the door, and behind us it is a jungle. There's orgies, there's Fat Drake, and the Flavor of Love, and this Mexican with these tattoos, and this old pimp, and the fishnet potato. It's a mess. And so we go outside, we run like down the hill towards where we assume the Uber is coming, and we leave this party, never to turn back. It turns out I looked afterwards. I tried to, of course, like delete my activity from the website. That this party did not originate in the group I founded. It actually originated in a group called LA Swingers, but it was being cross promoted in multiple groups. And I guess they just decided to leave that event, that detail, that it was going to be like a nasty, like pimp Drake sex party. So I never knew. Nonetheless, that's what happened. I survived barely, but I've been having like anxiety ever since and like flashbacks. So, if I could give anyone any advice, just if you're gonna go to a party, call ahead and make sure it's not a swingers party.